In this video, we are discussing and reacting to Secret Invasion Episode 4. Welcome back to Eat Sleep Nerd. In this video, we are reacting to the latest episode of Marvel's Secret Invasion Episode 4, titled Beloved. I am your dorky DJ, Corey Winter, and joining me is my... Oh, no, my nerdy brother's not here. So,
Where's the nerdy brother?
My nerdy brother's not here. So, joining me as always are my geeky friends, Jason Summer down there in the little box, and Christian James.
Okay. Is it beloved?
See,
or beloved?
Yeah, boom.
Oh, I don't know.
Beloved.
What did I say?
I read it as beloved.
Oh, or does it have to have some kind of context for it to be beloved?
I don't know.
What they say? What was the poem that she was reading in the episode?
Beloved.
Yeah.
Then it's beloved, because it's in reference to the poem she was reading. Hi, we're going to be talking spoilers in this episode, so
And apparently
go
we're
ahead
doing
and
poetry and literature as well.
go ahead and talk about that. So yes, we are getting into the latest episode of Secret Invasion over there on Disney Plus. We are 4 episodes into it out of 6, so we're nearing the end. We're through the halfway point. Things are starting to heat up in more ways than one. So before we could actually get into the spoilies, let's actually just talk about overall feelings about the show so far. Jason, we have not caught up with you since I think the first episode. So let's go ahead and get your feelings after 4 episodes. Yet again, no spoilies yet. How you
No
feeling?
spoilies yet. Okay. Overall, I would say that the intrigue of what's going on is probably the only thing keeping me entertained.
It's
This series
not
so
a
far.
good sign.
I
Always
will
bright.
say that I feel like they stepped it up in this last episode, and for the first time, I felt somewhat more invested than the previous 3 episodes.
Okay.
Okay.
That's
There
where
was
I'm at.
definitely some weight and some ramifications and some things that don't seem like they can be undone in this episode. So it got kind of heavy.
Yeah. And beyond that, we're seeing more things happen to where it's like, all right, where's this plan gonna land? You know, like where can it go from here? How is it going to end, or will it end, or will it just tie into something else? You know.
I think the answer is yes to all of that.
Yes.
So I'm still loving it. I think it's great. This is my kind of show. I can't believe it's taken us this long to get this type of show for the MCU. But yeah, I think it's great. There was some of the stuff at this point has gotten a little predictable, so it's kind of taken some of that punch away from what I think they were going for. We can talk about that yet and again in a second. But overall, I'm loving it. I think it's great. I honestly wish we had more than just 2 episodes left, because I think we're just now getting to the point where it's starting to have some gravitas, and I wish we had gotten that a little bit sooner. So now that we're only 2 episodes away from the end, I want it to keep going. So
Right.
Anyway, all that to say, I'm loving it, but it sounds like, Jason, you might be a little mixed. So before we actually score this after this most recent episode, I just want to go ahead and give a little update on our scores as they stand currently. So after the first 3 episodes, I was still giving it a 5 out of 5. I'm loving it. Christian, you were sitting at a 4 out of 5. Jason, you were at a 3 out of 5. That's only after the first episode. And Josh was at a 4 out of 5. So we're all over the place on this one. So yeah, we'll do scores after we get into the breakdown of this show. So do you guys want to get into all the spoilies and story beats and all that fun stuff? All right.
Yeah.
Cool. So I have a lot to talk about.
Okay.
Yet again. Man, I wish I had my buttons working. Yet again.
Spoilies.
Spoilies.
And I caution heavy spoilies in this discussion. Some pretty big things happen, especially with some specific characters.
I
Okay.
am spoilies.
And I have to do this. This is completely not even related.
Okay, that
Okay.
makes sense.
And I've said this before, but for those of you listening, between Christian and Corey is a Star Trek poster on the wall. And from one of the perspectives that I'm seeing in the camera, The way that it's designed is that it's a one of those hologram pictures. From one direction it's one image, and from another direction it's another. So from one direction it's Captain Picard, and from the other direction it's William Shatner or Captain Kirk. But when they blend from the angle that I'm in, it looks like Reginald Barkley.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
that's a
not
new
what we
one.
thought you were going to say.
Right. So I want to. It actually looks like it's got the tan from Captain Kirk's shirt and the black shoulders from Captain Picard, and then the faces combined look like Reginald Barkley.
So Josh said it looked like Kevin Spacey and Christian agreed. So
Yeah. It really
So
does.
if-
It's creepy.
I wish you had saved this conversation for a secret or Star Trek Strange New Worlds video. for
I'm
tomorrow.
sorry.
It's
Next
fine.
next time. I can't not see it, and I see it every time. Okay, moving
Yeah,
on.
our camera's at a slightly
So those
different
listening,
angle for this
do you see
video.
that as well, or am I just going crazy?
The answer
Maybe.
can be yes to both.
Both
So
can be true.
let's get into Secret
Okay.
Invasion episode 4, The Beloved. Beloved? What did we say?
Beloved.
It was?
I think it's Beloved.
All right. So kicking us right into the very first thing we see is the confirmation that Emilia Clarke's Gaia was not actually dead. She actually turned into a Super Skrull.
Super Scroll.
She did. She took the. She. I'm trying
Yeah,
to
She did the
think of, like,
genetic therapy or whatever.
blasted
yeah, I
herself.
was trying to make some kind of reference. It didn't
Yeah.
work out.
It's okay.
Which is it's just weird. Okay, like I love that. It was probably like a cliffhanger thing they wanted to do. That she turned and then came back with her extremis powers
Mhm.
when Gravik, when he got shot, and he was just like, man. You know what I'm saying?
Alright.
I was wondering if like those powers can be suppressed, or like, it was just like either the first time she was using them, so it didn't really kick in that fast.
Oh, yeah. She was laying on the ground for a minute.
Yeah,
That's
a good
point.
minute.
Maybe she was
to
waiting for
pan out.
Gravik to leave before she.
Maybe
I don't know if she had any control over it, honestly.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I didn't get the feeling that she had any control.
that's what I figured.
But
Yeah. Now I will say, I thought she was dead. So maybe
I mean,
maybe
yeah, that's one of the things I think did not have as much gravitas as I think they would have liked, because when she died in episode, or when you thought she died in the last episode, it would have had more weight if they'd actually stuck that and just let her die. But
Yeah.
the fact that they brought her back immediately just kind of took some of the weight away from that little cliffhanger.
And then again, like in the past couple episodes, she hasn't really had anything to do in the episodes for her death to mean anything.
and I was also
It
like,
was the
there's no
rat.
way.
She
I was
the
also
rat.
like,
She was the
there's no
mole.
way. There's no way
Hold
they're
on,
going to.
And-
hold
Okay,
on,
okay.
hold on.
Right.
She was the mole. She was
And-
the whole reason it was all.
And then she died.
Yeah, okay.
Boom. Like, why would we care after that?
I guess she didn't really accomplish anything, but she
Yeah.
was trying.
She was trying.
She was trying.
Like, she tried to rekindle with her dad, and then again, she was just like, you know what? Never mind.
she did do it. Yeah. She
Yeah. So it's just like, okay, well, she died. We paid all this money for Emilia Clarke, and this is what we do with her.
Well, and I think that's what I was thinking. Like, surely they didn't pay for her. They didn't have Emilia Clarke just to be killed off in the third episode, halfway through the series.
I mean, she was in Game of Thrones, so I'm sure she's used to it.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well, no, she watched it the
I
entire
mean, yeah.
time.
I mean,
Killing my dreads.
yeah, I know.
but anywho,
Anyway,
did we?
Last-
Okay,
I'm glad she's not dead.
yeah. Well, yeah. She looks so tiny, though, doesn't she?
I mean,
yeah, I think she's
I
like
mean-
5'4".
I don't know. Yeah, but she just looks so small compared to everybody else. I'm like, geez,
5'4".
I don't. That
So-
doesn't sound right. Anyway, so
I don't know. That's probably not right.
She's probably shorter, honestly. So moving into the next scene, we get another flashback. I'm pretty sure every single episode has had a flashback so far, but it's progressively moving through Nick Fury's timeline. So I think the first one we got was like all the way back in 95, then we got to 97, 98, now we're all the way in 2012, which was when the invasion of New York happened. So the original Avengers movie, which is obviously where we first saw Nick Fury being Nick Fury.
Right.
So went through that flashback. We saw him meeting up with his wife again. He had the eye patch, he had the overcoat, he had all of the classic Nick Fury-ness and de-aging, which I thought looked pretty freaking good.
Yeah, it looked good. Like 11 years. I wonder how they would do. I mean, I guess he's been in the movies for so long, they can just go back in records and just like smooth that, boom.
Mhm.
And plus, he only had to do half of his face, so that was cool.
Yeah, true. And they had one of those little moments between them, husband and wife, she was reading a poem, which is actually where we got the title of this episode from, The Beloved.
It's called Late Fragment by Raymond Carver.
Look at you go.
Oh,
Did that research. Nice.
American poet. He died in 1988.
Oh, sad.
Also wrote short stories.
Okay.
Anyway, but I wanted to check if it was a real poet or if it was something they made up for the episode. So props to Marvel for introducing us to some actual American literature.
Yeah. Yes.
yeah, DC.
Wow. Just called out for no reason.
I wasn't saying anything against DC, but I mean, they're not doing a good job of helping themselves out a lot recently. Anyway,
Oh, yeah,
so I'm not gonna do that.
They're hurting
Be
themselves.
nice.
Are you telling yourself to be nice?
I think it's for everybody. Just be
Okay,
nice.
yeah.
we need that. We need that. So moving into the next scene, honestly, I have so much to talk about. So the next scene, we get into the whole Rhodey situation, and if you actually went back, they actually put it in the last episode recap. But if you had noticed in the last episode, the phone call that Nick Fury's wife got was actually Rhodey on the phone, which is kind of a hint that he actually was a Skrull. So confirmed, Rhodey has been a Skrull this entire time.
Was it really a hint?
It was.
It was a pretty big hint.
It was.
I mean-
It was a big one because in Captain Marvel, Corey, since you pointed it out, what did we learn about who works with Fury?
Oh yeah, no one calls him Nick.
Oh,
Yeah,
Right.
okay. Yeah, that wasn't the hit for me. But
Oh.
when they were both talking together, I did notice that he said Nick during their
Yeah.
conversation. I was like, well, there it is.
Exactly it.
Yeah.
So, all right, this is the question that I still can't figure out. These characters that have been in play since 2008, 2010, are we saying that they've been Skrulls the entire time, or
so I think that's
Are we-
what's gonna have so much weight these last couple episodes is how far back does this go? Because we know it goes as far back as at least Spider-Man Far From Home. I mean, obviously all the way back to Captain Marvel,
right?
but the first time we saw them taking over established characters was
Mhm.
Far From Home. So
But
I don't
but
think
they were
Rhodey.
saying
I think Rhodey's probably been one since. I think most of these characters, they'd probably say post Endgame is when they started scrolling out, because we saw Rhodey show up in Falcon and the Winter Soldier in that one quick scene. I'm wondering if that's maybe the first instance of him making a public appearance as a Skrull.
maybe. And see, I was just thinking about something later on in the episode. Spoiler: when Talos gets shot and he's dying, he is slowly losing his ability to maintain a composure as a human,
Mm-hmm.
in his human disguise. So you don't have to be dead to be able to lose your composure or your facade.
To be
When
at least
Rhodey
injured. Yeah.
ended up plowing into the earth when he got shot by Vision
Civil
in
War,
Civil
yeah.
War, he did not change into anything. My guess is if he
Okay.
was a Skrull, he would have changed.
Yes. So that checks
So-
out. And maybe that's kind of their little way of establishing, hey, confirming they weren't Skrulls back then
Right.
without saying as much.
Well, that's what a lot of the theories are coming out is that people are saying that he actually died in Civil War
Oh,
and someone took over from there.
now that would be
Oh, and
sad.
based off some of the stuff in the episode today,
Like what?
when his wife was talking about taking over the human life, that's precisely what she did. What's
Priscilla.
Priscilla.
Yeah,
Man, they said her name a lot.
Charlene
in this
Woodard.
episode.
Yes.
Priscilla, she took
Oh.
over. Remember, she
when
took over
when
that
Nick
woman's
was
life.
asking her about when she first decided to take on this face.
Right.
She gave the
So
backstory
is
about
that-
how she met someone in the hospital.
So is that kind of a Is that kind of a precursor to this guy, whoever takes over Don Cheadle's Rhodey, because he died?
See, that would also mean that he was a Skrull during the end game everything, which would make me a little upset.
And yeah, and with that amount of time too for him to be so active up until now, like his attitude towards Fury in these past few episodes wouldn't necessarily make sense.
Well,
Because all of a sudden he just made a heel turn out of nowhere.
Yeah, like he was pretty, like he was on Team Avengers until this show.
mm,
I don't know. This is raising a lot of questions here, which I think is kind of the whole point of this show. Like they're trying to make us think about how far back this goes.
But then again, I just had another thought. So when at the end of Civil War, he's in the Robo Legs.
Yeah.
He's an easy target.
Whoa! Does he still have the Robo legs?
he does not.
No.
Is that because he's a scroll? Is that a hint?
I think it. I
'Cause
think it's
he's had
because-
Robo legs.
I think
like,
it's because of the technology from Wakanda.
oh, that might be right.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking that, he may have survived the crash, had his Robo Legs, but then when Gravik was making his plans to take over, Skrull Rhodey came in, which is like judo chop. and they have him somewhere locked up because he was an easy target. So he may not be dead,
He's
but
on
he's
ice.
definitely taken over. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Ooh.
just a real quick recap of the episode is so basically Nick Fury's wife, who is a Skrull, and he is aware of this. She gets a call, and I did think I recognized Rhodey's voice on the other end of the line, but
Nice.
I wasn't sure. But I was turned out to be correct. So it doesn't matter because I didn't speak up and like commit to it. So whatever. Anyway, so Skrull Rhodey is telling Priscilla Skrull to take out Nick. And he's like, either you kill her or I'm going to kill you. There's going to be one dead body in that house. And so Nick somehow is heard. That's what's going on. And somehow he put like either sounds like he put some sort of listening device. And I don't know if she agreed to it or if he threw it in there. And
I think he just bugged her phone.
he bugged her phone.
I thought he bugged her wedding ring.
Yeah, it was.
I was thinking of her phone because I think it was like last episode where like she walked away and he was like staring at her phone.
Mm.
Well, no, I could have sworn there was a scene where he picked up her ring and he put something on it in the last episode.
But it's Nick
I
Fury.
remember him very obviously doing something to her stuff. I just forget what the stuff
Gotcha.
was. I'm pretty sure it was her wedding.
We may have to go back and
I
watch.
don't
that.
remember that.
But it's Nick Fury, and he does that stuff anyway, and
Yeah.
it's kind of par for the course for him. So
Doesn't trust anybody.
right. So turns out he heard this conversation between the two Skrulls, and they confronts her at the table when she gets home. Hey, you're gonna kill me, or I'm gonna kill you. Reads the poem. Not bad. Not pretty good poem. No, actually, the poem was from the flashback. Then they do they revisit the poem. Like, did you get what you wanted? She's like, I think I did. And then they decide to point the guns at each other. And then bang bang. And then they decided to both miss each other. And then what else? Okay, so
Well, then he
decides
said,
to
Nick Fury says, I'm not sure if that means we should get divorced or renew our vows, which was great.
and she laughs and he laughs and the toaster laughs. And then he goes to confront Don Cheadle, Rhodey, Skrull. He's like, hey, drink this stuff. It's like 23-year-old scotch. And he's like, I don't know. Should I drink it? It's poison. It's like, I don't know. You should. It's up to you. And they drink and they get all pissed off at each other. He's like, you should reinstate me. He's like, no, I'm not going to do that. And then so he drinks the stuff, and it turns out that the alcohol actually has like some sort of liquid tracker in it. So now they're tracking Rhodey, who's with the president, because they're going to have the president take out, have the Russians, or have the Gravik Skrulls are going to pretend to be the Russians, and then the Russians are going to take out our president, the United States president, and they're going to try to start World War III. But we know where everybody is because Don Cheadle's with the president. He's got the liquid tracker on it, and then Samuel L. Jackson's Nick Fury is tracking that with Talos, and then they start fighting at the. And then that's where they're.
What's
So
happening?
you're recapping the story like Michael Pena in Ant-Man. Like it's, that has to be a new segment for that.
that was not the intent. I'm sorry.
Love it. And that was perfect. You hit all the points. So let's rewind a little bit, I guess.
Okay.
Let's go back to the Rhodey thing. So Nick Fury,
Yeah.
he had the talk with his wife. As you mentioned, they had the whole poem recap and they didn't kill each other. So we finally get the Nick Fury sitting across the table from Rhodey, the little face off. And he was very not Nick Fury. He was very like comedic and like cracking jokes. It was very weird. It's very off-putting.
Can we also, from here, rewind?
Oh God.
We're forgetting an important part of this episode.
Which is
Okay.
Rhodey is a female scroll.
Yes.
Who is
Oh.
she?
You
is
think
she?
she's someone like even more significant than just being disguised
Could be.
Rhodey? Hmm. They
interesting.
did make a very good point to emphasize that, didn't they?
Yeah, because when they were talking in the church, he seemed, or she seemed more in command of the situation. Like she's also an integral part as much as Graphic is.
Hmm.
Wow.
And then when the Rhodey scroll stepped out of the shower, they put the towel on like typically a woman would for a movie, where they put the towel on up above the breast.
Mhm.
Yeah, yes.
And I thought that it was going to be a different scroll.
I
Like
thought that was
maybe
Amelia
Gaia.
Yeah, I thought it was Gaia.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then it turned into Rhodey.
Rhodey.
And then I just stopped even thinking about it.
Yeah.
But you're right. Interesting.
An interesting choice.
Yeah.
See, look at you, Christian, picking up on that stuff again. I told
And
you
we all
he does
noticed
this.
it.
This is what he
but-
does.
I'd be doing stuff.
We noticed it.
It's because of the sunglasses. That's what it is.
Yes. Blocks out all the nonsense.
So basically, Nick Fury tried to call Rhodey's bluff. Rhodey was like, "Oh yeah, but I still got this video evidence of you killing Kofi
Right.
Smulders, so that's not going to work out for you." But at
Because
least
it's
you
not
got the
really
tracker.
you. It's
Yeah.
Gravik disguised as you.
Yeah,
But it still looks
so
bad.
At least he got the tracker in there, which actually helped him track down Gravik's team as he was coming against the president's convoy, which is where
Right.
it gets really heated.
Right.
So final,
Pretty good battle scene.
Yeah, pretty good battle scene. And I hate calling things out like this, but the CGI was pretty bad. Like the helicopters are very obviously fake, and
I don't know. They look good to me.
I don't know. That
Ja-
was-
the, what looked bad was, sorry to skip ahead again, was the Groot grab.
the Groot, yes,
That-
Groot came.
that
His
Little segment looked
Mm.
choppy because he grabbed him and all of a sudden he was like right in front of him.
get
I'm
over
like,
here.
Ew.
So there's a lot of talking points to this last action scene. So obviously, we're kind of confirming my theory that leading into Captain America 4 and likely Armor Wars, which is going to be Rhodey's standalone movie now, that this president was likely going to die, leading to Harrison Ford's General Ross taking over as president. So that was kind of the first hint that that's actually what's happening. He didn't actually die in this episode, but I guess there's still room for that happening. But let's see.
Also, could we talk about the actual presidential convoy? It was
Okay.
like a long time ago. I watched some videos on that. That stuff is real.
Yeah, that convoy was actually pretty realistic.
Yeah, there's misleading vehicles that the president could be in. There's another like security detail car right behind that, and then it's like
There's
a
the big like gray van, which is actually like their security, like it's just full of computers, and
surveillance and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And then it's kind of like a medic slash
An ambulance,
military
Yeah.
style thing. That's all real.
Yeah.
And it's incredible to really think about, like, they're prepared for literally anything other than, scrolls. But
Maybe they should start bringing that into consideration.
boom.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying, if Gerard Butler had been there,
Oh,
totally wouldn't be fine.
or Jamie Foxx.
Nah, we forget that movie. No.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah,
I-
that one.
Oh no,
I
it was
have-
Jamie Foxx. Or was it Jamie Foxx?
That was Jamie Foxx. We just
Oh,
that movie
and
is-
then there was another one.
well, it was Angel Has Fallen and Olympus.
Channing Tatum.
Yes,
Yes. Boom. Got it.
but Olympus Has Fallen was far superior. White House Down sucked.
I didn't care for any of them.
Wow, those are some of my favorite movies.
Well,
There's 3 of them so far.
well,
They're making a 4th.
well.
Anyway, I'm just saying, if he had been there, situation would have been handled.
Also, Harrison Ford, Clear and Present Danger,
Yeah.
or Clint Eastwood
yeah.
from
Wow,
what was that
we're just
movie?
we're just really going off the rails here.
Hang on, what's the one with Clint Eastwood and
I
John
don't know about
Malkovich
Clinton.
is the oh
Clint
no.
Eastwood.
I'm not that old.
Are you
Hang
thinking
on.
of Bruce
Sure.
Willis in Red? Like, I have no idea. Anyway, let's finish this out. So, as you mentioned, Groot, the powers that we saw on the computer that are actually leading to the super serum for making super scrolls. That was one of the things that they had. So we actually saw Groot in action. Well, not actually Groot, but
Groot style action.
Groot's roots.
I like that.
Don't like that.
Groot's roots.
And then we saw, man, we gotta talk about Talos. So he was doing the best he could to save the president. He got shot in the process, but he still saved the president. Then he got what we thought was just a nice. What were those Marines? Maybe Army. I don't know.
They were like
Secret Service.
British folk.
I don't know. We saw one of those soldiers.
NATO or the UN or something.
Maybe NATO. We saw him helping him up. We were like, oh yay, he's being helped out. Turned out it was freaking Gravik. He
Again.
shot him. Like, what the?
That also makes me think about like the scene beforehand where he was like, "Hey, there's an alien trying to get into the president," and then Nick was like, "Nah, you're good." He was like, "Oh, okay," and turned back around. Like, what was that? It was odd.
It was odd, but I thought, to me, that was just kind of like reinforcing that Nick Fury does still have command and like he's not been completely pushed out.
Yeah, I mean, I would almost feel like if he had some kind of like hesitation, it wouldn't have been so awkward.
Yeah,
you know, because he was pointing the gun, and then Nick was like, "No, he's with us." He just kind of stood there for a second and then turned. It was really weird.
It was
just a weird directing
You're right.
thing, weird character thing. I don't anyway. But and also, Gravik's homeboy that was able to get a straight line shot. It almost seemed like Call of Duty, where you're just like camping out somewhere and you're just like staring at your opponent. Bam. You got one officer out of the way, in which I don't understand why the others that were standing next to him didn't just turn.
Yeah, that felt weird too. But I guess I had other problems to take care of.
Yeah.
But so yeah, the big thing is it seemed pretty definitive that Talos is dead.
Yeah,
like
he got shot.
I don't know how he comes back from that unless he also took the secret serum, which I guess is
don't think he
possible
did.
if Gaia gave it to him. We just didn't see it because we know she has it.
I mean, he would have to go to their lair to do it.
Oh, yeah.
And
That's
that'd be
right.
impossible.
She had to step into that little bubble
Yeah, that's
chamber
true.
thing.
That's true.
Yeah,
Dang, is he dead?
I
might be
think
dead.
he's dead.
Oh man, I liked him.
Dang it, Ben.
Dang it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did.
Ben
it.
Mendelsohn. I've really started appreciating him as an actor.
Yeah, he's
so,
great.
in the last
He is
couple-
great.
Huh?
He's awesome. But we see the president. Woo.
In the Line of Fire,
Yeah.
the Clint Eastwood movie. In the Line of Fire.
Yeah.
Thanks.
No problem.
So I think that hits all of my points.
Yeah.
So we had three really big development things. We had
Did we?
Gaia's not dead. We had the Rhodey is a scroll, and we had Talos is dead. So three really big things happened this episode, taking us into the last two episodes of this series. And what we know now is going to eventually lead into Armor Wars, which is the Rhodey-centric movie, and obviously Captain America 4.
So, as we're going through this, one of the thoughts that keep going through my head while I'm watching these series and these movies of this last phase is the relevance of an MCU of an MCU, I guess. I kind of feel like it's treading water, trying to keep its head above water and not drown. I don't feel the momentum and the inertia and just the complete just kind of a careening sense of going to something big and monumental that we had with Endgame. I just don't feel like any of that's there now. Like it just kind of feel like it's in its death throes to me. So are we seeing anything different? Are we seeing signs of life in these series that we're watching, in these movies? I don't know. Are we seeing
Well, I have
anything
two
where
things for you.
Yeah. Okay.
So the first thing is that the reason that everything pre-Endgame and especially pre-Avengers was so special is because it was the first time we ever saw something like that before. It was brand new. It was a brand new experience.
Mhm.
Now it's just been there, done that.
Right.
This whole interconnected story thing, building up to maybe something at some point, it's nothing special anymore. But I will say, I enjoy these shows and movies more when I'm not thinking about the interconnectivity. Like I'm liking Secret Invasion as a standalone thing, and like I do know that it is going to lead to something else, but
Mhm.
those will also be separate things in my mind. So like I'm liking Secret Invasion a lot because I'm just treating it as a mini series thriller, which is the type of stuff I love. So
Okay.
I don't know. To me, it feels special.
My theory
like it.
is it's like the MCU really started on a whim. Like they had no intentions on making this a thing. It just became a thing. And then they started doing those post-credit scenes where you saw Thanos. And so you get your niche comic book readers who are just like, oh, that's cool. So I remember seeing when did he first show up?
It was post credits to. No, we saw him. I don't know, man.
I mean,
Was it
yeah, it was
I think we saw him like in a very quick scene prior to Avengers. But Avengers is where he showed himself
Maybe
as the
Thor?
big buddy.
right.
It might have been Thor.
It was one of those earlier movies.
It doesn't matter.
But at the time, my brother, like, he had gotten out of his comic book phase, but he knew about Thanos and he was telling me all about Thanos. I was like, oh, that's cool. And beyond the comic book readers, yeah, if you watch the movies, you know there's a big bad. So it doesn't really matter like where the other movies go. You know something's happening. But now we're getting to even more niche topics like the multiverse and or Kang that the regular population would really know about. And so they're trying to figure out a way into all of that to make it still exciting for the rest of the MCU fans that grew into it the past 13 years.
Quick math. Good job.
Yeah.
I think it's
So
right.
it's not right. Like 2015?
8.
15.
Oh, I mean, yeah, total.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right, so
Yeah.
let's score Secret Invasion. We are doing this one as Jason.
Thanos made his MCU debut in the Avengers.
Hey, you were right.
Okay. Maybe I'm thinking of him showing up in Guardians of the Galaxy, which was after Avengers. Doesn't matter. All right, so Secret Invasion. Let's score this sucker after 4 episodes. The way we do this is we're giving an updated score for the series as a whole after we watch more and more of it. So by the time we get to the end of all 6 episodes, we'll just have that one single score that we're updating as we watch. So after 3 episodes, as I was saying before, Josh was out of 4, Jason was out of 3, I was out of 5, and Christian was out of 4. But Jason, we have not actually updated your scores since the first episode. So we're going to start with you. After 4 episodes now, what would you be giving Secret Invasion?
3.5.
Okay. Got a half.
Yeah, you went up just a little bit.
A little bit.
Again, I still don't think I'd be watching it if I didn't have to.
You don't have to. You can leave.
No.
Get out. I'll kick you out.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Obviously, Josh is not here. We'll keep his score at a 4. My score is no surprise. I'm keeping it at a 5. They're finally giving me content that is more targeted towards me. So 5 out of 5 for me. Christian.
Yeah, this episode had a little bit more, just like a little notch more of that. What's exciting me about this series. So I'm going to pull a Jason. I'm going to go 4.5.
All right. So that means we are overall enjoying this show because that brings us up to a 4.25 out of 5 for Secret Invasion after 4 episodes out of 6.
We didn't do 4 point or 5 whatever out of 5 at what 5 what?
Yeah, that's
like
just not my
5
thing.
dead Taylors out of 5, or what?
Wow.
Oh my god.
I'm s-
5 liquid tracking chips out of 5. That's kind of boring.
vials.
Whatever.
4.5 wooden tentacles
Ugh.
out of 5.
Ugh.
Oh, 5 poems by Raymond Carver out of 5.
Mm.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Okay.
let's end this thing. This was just all off the rails. So
So,
that wraps us up for episode 4 reaction to Secret Invasion. We have 2 more of these. Josh will be back next week. Woo. And we'll just wrap this up after 2 more weeks. But also, as a reminder, we're also doing reaction videos for Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 2 every Friday after the new episodes air on Thursday. We're also doing our podcast episodes again every Tuesday. We also have some big movie reviews coming out. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, Oppenheimer, and Barbie.
Barbenheimer.
Yep. That.
Barbie
Just killed the momentum right there. Thank you for tuning in.
thank you for tooting in. What?
Tooting.
Tooting.
Tooting?
Okay, bye.
Okay.
Okay, bye.